Hello, crafty friends. Lisa here. I'm super excited to be back on the Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel participating in Whimsy's January Hop I Spy with My Crafty Eyes featuring the Penguin Pals die set. Now, this hop really stretched our crafty skills as we look at the Penguin Pals die set in a whole new light. We are each sharing a critter we created using the Penguin Pals die set. Please stick around for the hop details at the end of the video, but for now, let's get started. Now you can see the die set here, and I want to share the accessory set that is sold separately. Now some of the participants in the hop are using this set in their videos as well. My eye caught a seal using this die set, and as I put it together, I'll explain which pieces I used. Now, in an effort to keep things moving along quickly for you, all die cutting was done off screen. My seal is created by die cutting white cardstock using this large die designed to represent the white of a penguin's body. Now, I cut it out 3 times, leaving the eyes in place, and the pieces are glued together, and the eyes are colored with a black Copic marker. So I thought we would do a little bit of shading with some dye ink. I have a warm gray color here. This is going to go great with the cardstock that I've picked for my next layers. And I'm just using a small Whimsy blender brush to add that warm gray dye ink around the outer edges of my white area. Now remember, that's going to be the area of his face. So here on the screen, you can see I have those oval shapes circled. This is what I'm using to create his snout. Now, I'm going to use that same warm gray ink, and we're going to ink these up. In just a second, you're going to, once I get these on my piece here, you're going to see me color the smaller of the 2 oval shapes. And this was a work in progress as I was doing this video. So I decided first, let's do a light ink blending on that smaller shape. But once I got it on the face, I decided that I really wanted to color it black, that it would look a little bit better if I did. And I'm so glad that I decided to color the smaller oval shape black because that's actually his nose. So this piece here is his snout. And we just added a little bit of glue. I left a little bit of space between his snout and that opening there in that white. So I'm coming in now and I'm placing his nose up over that little bit of white space that I left. And you're going to see it better once I color it black with my Copic marker here. It really does make a huge difference just to go ahead and color it black. So I would totally skip the ink blending that small piece because ink blending those small pieces can be a challenge sometimes. So I'm taking a fine tip pen here and I'm adding some little detail. So I drew a straight line down from his nose and then gave him a little smile line. And I'm adding 3 little dots on each side of there for like his whiskers. So I'm actually coming in now and flicking lines out to create his whiskers. So I do 3 flicks on each side of that larger oval to create whiskers. And you can see how that looks. I didn't do it here. I did it later on. I did come in and put some little eyebrows above his eyes, and it just gives him a little bit more character. Now here I'm showing you I used the medium, not the smaller, but the medium body for the medium-sized penguin. And we're going to finish his head off with this piece. So I'm doing, again, a little bit of shading with that warm gray dye ink. And I'm going to glue to the back of his face. And then we're going to go ahead and add this to that smaller or the medium-sized penguin body. So here you can see he's coming together. And I actually offset him a little bit so it would give his head a little bit more shape at the top. And you can see how he's coming together now. I think he turned out so cute. So the next thing I'm going to do is I have another piece of warm gray cardstock here, and this is the largest penguin body. I'm going to use this as his body. So the way that I'm approaching him is that you're looking at him straight on. We're going to add more shading, and this time I'm going to go really heavy with it because I want this to be darker than his head. Here on the screen, you can see I have the feet for the penguin circled, And then I have the feathers that come out of the top of the little chick's heads. Those are circled as well. Now, the feathers, I'm using those on the side for his side flippers. You can see that there on the screen. And then the feet, I'm going to actually create his back flippers using the feet for the penguins. So what I did was I cut those twice. And I'm using the two largest feet for the penguins and gluing two of those together and using a total of 4 of them for his back flipper. And then for the side flippers, I cut those little feathers out twice, and I'm using the largest ones to create his little side flippers. Now, I did do some ink blending on these and just added them with glue. As you can see here, he's all done and ready to go on the card. I'm using the FaDoodle Hearts stamp set along with VersaFine Onyx Black ink to create a black and white border on an A2 top fold card base. When I'm random stamping, I really don't think a whole lot about what I'm doing. I just go to it. There's no rhyme or reason to the madness. So here you can see I just twist and turn the block with the stamp on there and just start filling in the area. Now you don't have to worry about the center of the card base because we are going to come in with a piece of pattern paper in just a few minutes and cover that center up. So you want to focus on the outer area of this card base. And again, I love the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. To me, it is one of the best inks on the market. It gives you crisp, clean lines every time. And it's great when you're doing random stamping and you're stamping with a block. And I personally love stamping with an acrylic block when I'm doing random stamping because it's a little bit quicker. Now, if you wanted to do color ink, you could easily use VersaFine Clair. They stamp beautifully. So here I have the Heart to Heart paper pack. I've picked a blue and white pattern paper to go with my seal because I felt like it gave me a water element to my card, which I felt like I needed. So we're cutting our piece of pattern paper to 3 1/4 inches wide by 4 3/4 of an inch high. And then we're going to go ahead and do some die cutting with the comic speech bubble dies because you know I love these things for critters. It kind of gives them a voice on the front of your card. I'm going to use the largest one, and I've got a piece of white cardstock here that's cut to the same size as my pattern paper. I am repurposing a design of my own that I've recently done, and I just love the way that it looked with the card that I had done, and I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and do it again with this cute guy. I went ahead and cut out SWAK, Sealed with a Kiss, from black cardstock using the ABC Cutie die set from Whimsy. And I've cut those out 3 times and I'm gluing them together to stack them to create some dimension and then putting them under an acrylic block to let them dry. Once they're dry, I'm going to go ahead and line them up on my glass mat and grab a piece of low tack tape, or what I use is Scotch removable tape, and pick the letters up, flip them upside down, and then add glue to the back of them and center them on my large speech bubble. At this point, it's just a matter of assembling all the pieces. I'm adding glue to the large speech bubble and I'm adding that to the top of my pattern paper, making sure everything's lining up. And then I'll flip this over and add mounting foam strips to the back side of it just to add a little bit of dimension to this panel when we center it on our card base. Now, I went ahead off screen and did one more speech bubble, and I stamped out the sentiment "Sealed with a Kiss" using Whimsy Stamps Alphabet Mini Stamp Set, and I added the 3 little lips from the Kiss Off stamp set. Now, I have all the products linked directly below for you, so if you want to hop over to the Whimsy Stamp site and check that out there, you can. Now, I want to give you a few more details on the hop. I do encourage you to check out the description box below for all the hop details. Just a quick reminder that you need to hop along each stop. There's a total of 5 stops, so not many at all. Subscribe and comment for a chance to win that $100 gift certificate to the Whimsy Stamps online shop. You have until January 30th to leave your comments at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the winner will be announced on each channel in the description box of the hop on February 1st. Remember, that's going to be announced on each channel that's participating in the hop. I do need to quickly mention that Whimsy Stamps is solely responsible for the prize being given away and that YouTube is not associated with this giveaway in any way. I really do appreciate the time that you spent with me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. And until next time, please take care.